Hey everyone, it's Clifton Saunders, your favorite mortgage lender with Amcap Mortgage. And thanks again for coming to my video blog. Today, we're going to talk about the 7 fears that may sideline you from getting a mortgage. So, hope you love the show and we'll talk more afterwards. All right, most people think that they will never qualify for a mortgage, but don't be afraid. A lot of things that we get are people are afraid that they don't have enough cash for a down payment, or maybe they think their credit score is too low, or they think their debt ratio is too low, but the odds are in your favor. You know, more than 7 out of 10 applicants can get financing, and they can find the house that they want. You know, and this was compiled by Fannie Mae, the super giant in mortgages. So what they know, they definitely know their mortgages. There's different types of loans, conventionals, FHA, VAs, and things like that. And coming up with the down payments are going to vary from each one. So we're going to go into each and every fear, just like I talked about a second ago, starting with fear 1. Fear number 1 is I don't have enough money for down payment. There's a huge misconception out there that you have to have 20% down for down payment, or that the average down payment is 20%, which is not always that. That's usually sometimes the most. However, you can get into a loan with as little as 3.5% down, and there are still programs out there that you get you in with absolutely nothing if you're a veteran or you're buying in a USDA zone, or if you qualify for any down payment assistance programs. So get over that myth. You can still come up with enough funds to own your own home. All right, fear number 2, I have too much debt. Well, generally speaking, if you have a lot of debt, that means you probably make a lot of money. And so it's not about the amount of debt that you have, it's about what is your overall total debt to income ratio, like how much money you make to how much money you owe out. However, that can be overcome because in most cases, I get people all the time who think they can't afford the house, but when they come and see me, their housing payment, they can afford a little bit more than what they pay for rent, and they can still qualify. So we're going to look at all aspects of your income, and in most cases, you're going to be able to qualify for what you want. It might be only $200,000 in some cases instead of $500,000, but most people don't want that $500,000 payment. So don't worry about having too much debt. There's ways to get you qualified. Fear number 3, I don't make enough money. That is a huge myth. I get this call every single month or regularly is, hey Cliff, I only get Social Security income or child support income, or I don't make a lot of money. The amount of money doesn't determine if you can get a loan or not. The amount of money just determines on how much house you can buy. And I've had it many a times clients come in and sometimes they're on a fixed income. They can still qualify to buy a house. However, it might only be $80,000 to $150,000. You know, so of course, and I can tell you this, if that's what your income is, in most cases, what you're renting is within a monthly payment of what you're going to buy. And there are houses out there. If you can find a house to rent for the amount that you're paying, you can find a house to own for the amount that you're paying. So don't worry about making too much money. We can still get you into a home. Fear number 4, my credit score is too low. The average FICO for a conventional loan is 751. However, the average American buyer has an average of 685 as their credit score. However, don't think that's what the kind of credit score you need to qualify. If you're getting on an FHA loan, you can go down to a 580 credit score. Our veterans, you can go down to a 600 score. And on a normal conventional loan, you can get approvals as low as a 620 credit score. So don't think that you have to have 700, 800, or even high 600 credit scores to qualify. You know, with a little bit of tweaking, we can get just about anyone in. All right, fear number 5. I'd feel horrible if I went through the entire home buying process to find out at the end and then get denied. No one wants to lose their money, and no one wants to fall in love with the house and find out at the last minute that they don't qualify for it. That's why it's very important that when you're working with your lender and your realtor, you know that you have a solid approval. And what that means is you need to get a full pre-qual. There's a lot of lenders out there who will just pull your credit and say your credit's good enough. However, you still don't qualify. You got to go through the 3 main things, which I always say are CIA, no background checks, but credit, income, and assets. Once you get a full approval and the lenders actually reviewed your credit, they reviewed your incomes and reviewed your assets, 99 times out of 100, your deal's going to go through without any problems. The only time I tell my clients that you're not going to get your house is if you lie to me or you do something silly. But if you get a solid pre-approval, you don't need to worry about that. You know that you can shop with confidence that when you pick out the house and you get it in contract, so long as you're honest with your lender and you provided all your documents up front, that deal is going to go through every time. All right, fear number 6. What if I get a loan and I get stuck with a horrible interest rate? I still hear that today. However, there's really not a lot of subprime mortgages out there. A lot of lenders are still selling their loans or loaning on the exact same products. So you go to lender A through lender Z, and half the time their interest rates are all going to be within 0.25% in most cases. And 0.25% up or down is not going to affect your loan that much. As long as you're getting a solid, I suggest the fixed rate mortgages. There are adjustable rates out there, but I don't recommend them unless you're some kind of investor. However, if your rate is up or down by 1/8 to 1/4, that doesn't hardly change anything. And the one thing that you want to look at is look for the best service. Someone who's going to be with you, hey, when you're in the process, during the process, after the process, and 5-10 years down the road. I know that's what me and my team pride ourselves on. So don't worry about getting a bad rate, because all rates across the board are almost the same. So you should be looking for service, not necessarily interest rate. Fear number 7 is one of my favorites. Buying a home costs more than renting, that you can barely afford your rent now. That is a huge myth. Imagine in your brain that when you're paying your monthly mortgage or your monthly rent, that your landlord is paying more than what you're paying him. If you're renting a house for $1,500, that he's paying $1,700, that is just not true. His principal, interest, tax, and insurance is generally always lower than what you're paying for rent. And that difference between what he's paying and what you're paying on rent is his profit. Keep in mind, when you become a homeowner, you're now becoming a business person, and that profit is now yours, that you're building equity over the long-term history of owning that house. And rental pricing has gone skyrocket high. As values have gone up, so has rental. So the good thing about buying a house is you're securing your payment for the long term, because every year you're going to get a rent increase, but not every year will you get a mortgage increase, because you're going to get a fixed rate mortgage. I hope that makes sense. Thanks a lot for listening to those 7 fears. I'm glad you held in there, and I hope all this information brought you a lot of value. It would mean a lot to me if you would forward, share, and subscribe this video to anybody that you might think that it could help. And definitely, as always, me and my team are here for you if you ever have any questions or concerns. You can reach me at my office at 281-930-7775, or just reply on this blog, or just reply to this email, and we'd love to hear what you got to say. So thanks again for watching this video, guys, and y'all have a blessed day. Bye-bye.